What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 17 of the Talking ATL Hawks podcast. I'm joined by the most beautiful crew you will find in a podcast. My boy Andrew Jefferson and my boy John Joyner. Fellas, before we even get this episode, how are y'all doing on this fine?
I'm doing great. I was watching the Hawks game earlier. It was, which we'll get into in just a few minutes. But tough game, but it was just a beautiful back and forth shootout between Kate Cunningham and Trey Young.
I mean, look, this is episode of Dennis Schroeder, episode number 17. So,
no, Aneka Kongwu.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Dennis Schroeder also wore 17.
Big O.
Yeah.
And that's just the first person I think of when I see 17. But yes, Big O is now the owner of the number 17, which
he
love
did play against Hawks tonight. He does play the Pistons now, so.
I mean, yes, we love Onyeka Okongwu and Dennis Schroeder. Yes, he did make his return to Atlanta on his 13th NBA team. I mean, my gosh, he is the Ryan Fitzpatrick of the NBA. That guy just gets sent everywhere. But yeah, I'm excited to get into it. This is post All-Star break. This is the real grit and grind of the NBA season. And I hate to say it, but the Hawks are not off to a great start, back-to-back heartbreakers. But we'll get into that later. But first, we're starting this little new tradition here on Talkin ATL Hawks, how we love to start off each episode just like we did last week with a start, bench, cut, just to go back into some Hawks history, spark a little bit of a debate and see where we stand with three players and how they stack up with each other. So, of course, Joyner presented his last week. If you missed that one, go check it out on our previous episode. But Chase, what do you got for us this week?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna dip our toes. But before we even get to the players one, I have a warm up one for us, just for kicks and giggles. I was literally thinking about this downstairs, and I'm very eager, Joyner, to know your answer. Andrew, you are disqualified from this one because I already know your answer, and I don't want you to influence Joyner's answers.
Okay. I'll just be a spectator.
This is a serious question. Joyner, we reveal our answers after you reveal yours, but start, bench, cut. Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper.
This is insane.
Okay, well, obviously we're from Georgia, so I gotta start Coke. I mean, that's obvious.
What are we doing here?
This is a very weird angle for y'all, but don't trust me, I'm just clapping.
Because I really like the other two. I'm gonna bench Pepsi. I'm gonna bench Pepsi and I'm gonna cut Dr. Pepper.
Joyner, buddy. Andrew, this is the Me and Joyner podcast right now. Joyner, listen, I have been debating with Andrew for years that Coke, it could not a sponsor, but Coke, if you want to sponsor us, buddy, we'll do it. Coke,
Yeah, but the orange one. Yeah, but the orange one.
Jordan, we should start our own podcast. That's me and you, where we talk about Coke the whole time.
Hey, Coke, sponsor us.
Yeah, we'll get Coke to sponsor us, and we'll just start a show about Coke. But yeah, Andrew, this crazy guy is like a Dr. Pepper fiend, and he is the biggest Coke hater. And hold on. No, you're not gonna lie.
Coke hater?
You're not gonna lie in my name right here on a podcast.
You're jealous. No. You're jealous because you're not invited to the Coke podcast.
No, first of all, in what world am I a Coke hater? I absolutely love.
If Coke's not your number one, you're a hater.
I absolutely love.
If Coke's not your number one, you're a hater.
Listen.
Is Coke your number one?
Listen, Linda.
I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah,
well,
you're from Georgia,
and Coke's not your number
You're
one.
asking me all these questions, but you're not giving me a chance to answer them.
Okay.
Let me talk, and then you can I absolutely love the Southern hospitality.
Don't butter it up now.
Dude, you've got to shut up. Here, drink your Coke. I love the sweet, the southernness, the hospitality, the smoothness of a classic Coke. And for disclaimer, though my answers do not line up with yours, the very best soda in the history of the world is an ice cold Coke from a clear glass bottle. That would never be beaten. But if we're just talking about the product itself, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Pepper surpasses Coke by a landslide. There is nothing better than a Dr. Pepper. Now, again, a classic Coke in a glass bottle, nothing beats it. Because that is that's an own taste on a completely different spectrum. So holy that no other sodas can reach it.
Can y'all believe this guy?
But on just a plain soda basis, Dr.
Well, you know what, Adrian?
reign supreme. And I know you're going to hate me for this, and I genuinely don't care. Pepsi tastes better than Coke. I love Coke, absolutely love Coke, but the taste of Pepsi is better than Coke. Sue me, mount my ball sack on your wall if you want. I don't care. Pepsi will always be better than Coke.
You know what you do?
You can call me a Yankee. You can call me a Northerner. I don't care. Pepsi will always taste better than
Do you know what you just said in basketball terms? You just said Charles Barkley's better than LeBron James. That's what you just said.
What?
And I'm supposed to take you seriously.
So start Dr. Pepper, bench Pepsi, cut Coke. Unless it's in a unless it's in a glass bottle. Unless it's in a glass bottle.
You don't know how tempted I am just to end this episode right now and just post this. And I'm just gonna title the episode Andrew's an idiot.
Look, if I stand alone on this island, then that means I get to be butt naked. Because if you're butt naked on your big island, you get arrested. But if I'm the only one on my island, I get to have my willy whacking anywhere I want. So
we're gonna be censored on YouTube.
So suck it, y'all. Suck it. I get different rights on my island. So
this episode's not getting uploaded.
Who's the winner now? Who's the winner now?
We better enjoy this barbie, kid. This ain't gonna be up for long. If y'all are one of the lucky ones, I guess, to catch this episode before it's canceled, then congratulations.
Consider yourselves lucky. And you can come on my naked island if you want. I ain't gonna miss you.
Pause.
Joyner, thank you for being right. Just thank you for being right.
To be fair though, it's obviously like Coke one, and then Pepsi and the Dr. Pepper are those two are like interchangeable for me. The Coke's obviously number one, but Pepsi and Dr. Pepper are interchangeable.
Oh yeah. If he would have said Pepsi's number 2 and Dr. Pepper's 3, or Dr. Pepper's 2 and Pepsi's 3, I wouldn't have cared. All I cared about was Coke being number 1.
We're from Atlanta. That was just that was uncalled.
Proceed.
Okay. The actual Hawks one now. Let's get to the one.
Yeah, let's get to some basketball, man.
We're 8 minutes in, and we're just now talking about basketball on a basketball podcast. That's how this works. So yeah, my actual start bench cut. Throughout the most recent years in the Hawks, we have been notorious for having a big man that's good but not great. So I want to get 3 of our most recent big men that were good, not great. Hang on, let me do something real quick.
If it's Mike Muscala, I'm cutting him.
It is not Mike Muscala.
I hope it's Mike Scott. All right, Mike Scott.
Start bench cut. Now, I'm not talking about the player in his career. I'm talking about the player when he was an Atlanta Hawk.
Oh, yeah, that's always to be considered.
Okay. Start bench cut. Atlanta Hawks, Dwight Howard.
Gosh, we're off to a bad start.
Atlanta Hawks, Pero Antic.
Ooh.
Or Atlanta Hawks, Clint Capella. Start bench cut. Who y'all got? I have my answer. Joyner, I'm going to let you go first. Andrew, you second. I'll give my answer last.
Okay.
But I'm going to go pick up my Coke that Andrew just disgracefully threw across the room.
Okay. I got to think about this for a second.
Now, I have some very
Clint Capella, Pero Antic. Everybody forgets about Pero Antic. Buddy was a dog.
I have some very strong opinions toward a very specific person on that list.
I know you do.
I mean, because like Dwight Howard, he was like the biggest name that we had in Atlanta for a while. Well, like
Yeah.
I mean, like, he might have been like washed. He was, but that's still a big name. When you think of Dwight Howard, you think of like the like Magic Dwight Howard and all that. Like, so like still, I mean,
I have my answer. Y'all might find it a little controversial, but I have my reasonings.
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go start Dwight Howard, bench Capella, cut Pierre Antic. That's just me.
Okay, I'm not gonna reveal my answer.
Okay.
Guys, I'm gonna publicly proclaim this right now. Dwight Howard is one of my least favorite players that have ever worn an Atlanta jersey. When I tell you I hated Dwight Howard in Atlanta, I mean I hated Dwight Howard in Atlanta.
Jersey.
Now, I love Dwight Howard as an individual basketball player. I can only sum up into one word, and that's atrocious. You remember the whole thing that went around where he had a butt injury, and people are starting to claim that he was doing some weird things in the locker room
With John Wall.
With John Wall. I feel like I had a butt injury because of how much he screwed this team when he was in Atlanta. This Dwight Howard, great rebounder. That is one thing he consistently was in Atlanta. Great rebounder. But he was
not just Atlanta, but the NBA in general.
Just universally known as a great rebounder. But his ability to punch shots back up was non-existent. I mean, this is a guy, Angel Reese, I think is the best way you can explain Dwight Howard. Fantastic rebounder, horrible scorer in the paint. He could not pull up a layup. He could not pull up a pullback dunk. He could not score in the post to save his
You're
life.
a little crazy now. It was just his putbacks that were bad. In the post, Buddy was nasty.
I say nasty in the disgusting term. I wouldn't say nasty in the, he was flashy term. So, but who's the other two guys?
Pero Antic and then Clint Capella.
Now, so going from start to cut, Clint Capella is an easy start to me. Clint Capella, I love Clint Capella. Now, recently, my feelings has changed because his quality on the court has kind of drifted down a little bit. But ultimately, Clint Capella, to me, is the best rebounder that I've seen put on a Atlanta jersey in my time. I'm not saying in history. I'm saying
Dwight Howard.
I'm saying since I've been watching basketball.
Dwight Howard.
No, Clint Capella, far better rebound than Dwight Howard. Far better rebound than Dwight Howard. Defensively, is so much more impactful on Capella's side. That is another thing about Dwight Howard's game in Atlanta that I did not like. His interior defense was Charmin ultra soft. Now, Clint Capella, fantastic rim protector. His ability to have a quick vertical and, contest shots with very acrobatic guards in this league, that's something he does very well. And he's very great when it comes to boxing out big men. Clint Capella, easy start. I'm benching Antic because I know. No, I'm not going to go that far. That's a little disrespectful.
You've already gone far.
I'm going to bench Dwight Howard because of his rebounding ability, and I'm going to cut Antic just because of process of elimination.
Welcome back to the Me and Joyner show because me and Joyner are on a roll right now. Star pitch cut on the soda was the exact same. Star pitch cut here the exact same. Start Dwight Howard, bench Clint Capella, cut Pure Antic.
I'm only benching Capella because we actually bench him we actually bench him in real life. So that's the only reason why I'm.
How are you guys gonna sit here and say Dwight Howard was a better player than Clint?
Okay, no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You are out of your mind disrespectful. Now I'm not saying by all means that Dwight Howard was great. None of these guys that we've had were great.
Clint Capella, I think Clint Capella was great.
Antic, Capella, and Howard, none of them have been great. They've all been good, which is why I put them in the start bench cut.
Don't put him on the same level. They're not.
And they're not exactly on the same level, but they're both
Capella's great. He's a great ball player.
Just listen. They're all not all on the same level, but they're all in the category of good.
Great.
No, stop. They're all in the category of good. Now, here's the thing. Dwight Howard, you are on crack if you think Capella's a better rebound than Howard was. If you remember how many rebounds a game Howard could get, especially, we used to laugh about it when, like, Schroeder would go up and do a floater and he'd miss, and Howard would grab a rebound, go up, miss, grab his own rebound, go up, miss, grab his own rebound, go up, get fouled, and miss both free throws. We would laugh about that. That was a daily thing for Dwight Howard, but it was because of how good of a rebounder Dwight Howard was. Now, and Capella, don't act like Capella isn't also charming, ultra soft on defense. Now, Howard wasn't the strongest on defense, neither was Capella. But to say that Howard offensively could not score was weak in the post, but Schroeder and Howard was Trey and John Collins before Trey and John Collins. The lob to – this is very distracting, by the way. You kind of just waited for Andrew's trying to look up some stats.
Good.
No, I'm comparatively, this is easily distracting.
No, just keep talking. I got this. Just keep talking.
Okay, so anyways, these numbers are right there. Guys, Andrew just completely thrown off my rhythm.
Don't let this throw you off. Good.
Anyways, so yeah, but Capella and Howard are about the same level defensively, except Howard is. And he is way more dominant in the post than Capella could ever dream to be. And he, like I said, Schroeder and Howard were Trey and John before Trey and John were a thing. Now, moving on to Capella. Now,
what in the world kind of comparison was that?
Lob City.
We were not Lob City with Howard. We were not Lob City.
We started every game with the lob from
Congratulations. That's all we got.
No. Oh, my gosh, you're so disrespectful. And stop talking. Just listen. Like, honestly, just listen. Anyways, my gosh, this Dr. Pepper lover over here, it shows. Anyway, yeah, so Capella is not too far off from Dwight Howard for me. The only thing that really separates me, because I feel almost the same about Capella and Dwight Howard. The only reason that I have Howard over Capella is just post offense. Capella can't do crap in the post. But Howard can. Howard's pick and roll, Dwight Howard's pick and roll, the Hawks, was severely overlooked. And I remember specifically that TNT game against the Rockets when he absolutely just threw Nene. Remember the Rockets had Nene? Absolutely threw him on the ground with the screen and then did the roll, and Schroeder threw up a lob and he just caught back and slammed it. That was your daily Dwight Howard when you watch the Atlanta Hawks game. You don't see that with Capella. That's what separates. Yes, you do. Not on that turned on a pick roll. You think Capella's going to throw something on the ground on a pick and roll? I would laugh if I ever saw that. Anyways, and then Pero Antic, he was good. Those are my early Hawks days. That's like when I really first started watching Hawks basketball, and I remember seeing that bald-maned, bearded beauty, and he was fine. He wasn't great. He was a nice asset. Nothing really special about his game. So that's my reasoning. This
is my reasoning right here, and I'm going to share it with the world.
Okay? This doesn't change my opinion, by the way.
So we're going to look at Dwight Howard's stats for a minute. You look at the rebound stats right here, and we go to his 1 year in Atlanta, and he
12 rebounds a game, Buckaroo.
Average
12 rebounds
12.7 rebounds.
Basically 13 rebounds a game.
13 rebounds a game.
And that's really good.
We go to Capella's stats, and we go to his rebounding, and we get
just 1 year. And every year after that, it's under Howard.
14, 11, 11, 10. 14, 12, 11,
What did
10.
you prove?
My point is that
what did you prove?
Oh, I guess we don't want to show this anymore. Well, to be honest, I didn't prove as much as I wanted to prove there. But my point still stands that Clint Capella on a year-to-year basis in terms of NBA stats was always on the top of total NBA rebounds and total NBA rebounds points per game. You never got that from Dwight Howard. Never got that from Dwight Howard. He wasn't dominating the boards in a whole league aspect like Clint Capella was. And that to me enough just debunks everything you just said. So that is my humble opinion. Feel free to disagree, but I think that was fun. That was a good Starbridge cut, though. Even though I disagree with both of you sides, that was a good
Joiner, I'm gonna thank you again for being right.
Dang, I forgot we had Chris Humphries as well. I'm sorry. I'm just watching Dwight Howard highlights right now.
Yeah, we got him reminiscing. I love it.
Hey man,
But
that's the point. That's the point. Dude, look, that's the point of these Starbridge cuts,
reminisce, man, reminisce.
Yeah.
But how about we get into some current Atlanta Hawks basketball?
Do we have to?
Yeah. We'll stop watching this Dwight Howard stuff.
Unfortunately, we do have to. Because we were wrapping up the All-Star break in our last episode. If you haven't watched it already, we recapped the All-Star break and kind of preview what the Hawks had looking forward. Only 2 games have happened since our last episode. We had that Thursday night banger, but more of a heartbreak because because we were up by 17 at the end of the first quarter and ended up losing because Pablo Banchero went absolutely haywire on the Hawks. And sort of the same thing happened today, except there was no defense. We were never up by 17, but Cade Cunningham just posted an insane stat line. Lost both games, by the way, if you couldn't tell. So we're starting 0-2 after the All-Star break, falling to 26 and 31. Sitting at 9th in the Eastern right now, and it's looking more and more unlikely that we're going to make it out of the play. And the funny thing is, though, we're not that far out of reach. As it currently stands, with just 1 game behind the Heat, 2 behind the Magic, and then 5 behind the Pistons, which hold a 6th spot, which is why this game tonight against Detroit was a little big and very disappointing that we lost. But before we get into that, we're going to go back into Thursday night where the Magic came to the A-Town to face the Hawks. First game back, second half of the season. 114 to 108. Like I said, we were up by 17 at one point. We won the first quarter by 12, and it started off the second quarter great, and about halfway through the second is where things just fell apart. And then that third quarter is what really won it for the Orlando Magic. But like I said, Pablo Banchero, 36 points, 11 for 25. Trae Young, although himself posted a really nice stat line, 38 points, shooting 13 for 28. If you miss this game, I will easily sum it up for you in a short little sentence. One of the worst officiating games you will ever see. And I was actually at church today. I was talking to one of my buddies at church, and he really explained this. It wrapped this officiating crew up very nicely. Actually, do they say their names? I think they say the names of the refs. They do. Kevin Scott, Natalie Sago, and John Conley, y'all all suck, and y'all should never be on a group again. He was at the buddy at church. He was at this game, and he basically said that what he saw officiating-wise was a poor and unfortunate representative of what the NBA is today. And it was everything. And Trae Young, if you missed his post-game conference after the game, just absolutely – he didn't say anything about the game. He straight up just absolutely tore into the officiating crew. And here's the problem. The problem was the officiating crew didn't know the difference between a blocking foul and just good post-up defense. So what happened, especially a lot, it was very uneven, first of all. So – anytime on the other end, Pablo tried, or Francois or anyone tried to get on the paint, anytime our defensive man in the post gave a little bump to push him backwards, they called a blocking foul. Every single time. And on the contrary, on the other end, when Trae Young would get that same treatment, he got no calls. And there were twice that Trae Young went up for a shot in the paint, and he got bumped away on his way up for the floater, and no call. It was, in fact, at halftime, he actually went up to Natalie Sago and got in her face and said twice. He said, this has happened twice, and I'm still getting no calls. Well, nothing changed in the second half. In fact, it got worse. And I'm not sitting here saying that this is why the Atlanta Hawks lost, but what I am saying is that this really was in a very unfortunate representation of what the NBA is turning into. And I hope the NBA looks into this because it wasn't just this game. It was many games. It's been many games this year. And I'm really hoping the NBA is looking into this and they will find a way to just let the players play and stop being so soft on what they call contact fouls. Anyone, Andrew, I'll open up to you this time if you want to talk about the game. I know I just ranted about the rest. I'll let Andrew actually get into what happened in the game.
Well, actually, I had a lot to say, but you kind of yapped there for a minute. It's a 3-man podcast. You gotta kind of deliver it. Don't expose the entirety of what took place on the court. Just kind of pass it around a little bit, chop it up a little bit. But because there are things that you got into that I actually want to talk about. The officiating in this game was absolutely downright awful. And it exposes what the NBA is today in terms of just taking away the physical aspect of the game itself. And what these officiating want to do is initially create a fair playing field for both teams and create the most, I guess, attack-oriented game of basketball that involves, I guess in hindsight, they kind of want to allude to the old ways of basketball, but just without all the physicality. But you can't do that. Those are two aspects of basketball that don't intertwine with each other. So therefore, you get highly unproductive offense schemes in basketball because you feel like on the defensive side, you can't drive into the paint. It's impossible to defend teams when they drive into the paint. It's impossible to play tight defense on a guy because, again, any contact, whether it's a bump off a screen or it's a bump, with a little give and go on the shoulder when you're trying to attack the paint, most of the contact that the refs want to blow dead is going to lean heavily towards the man with the ball, the team that's on offense. And it's just so hard to scheme up defensively when you're a coach, and it's frustrating because it shows lack of consistency, and that's what Trent was so frustrated about. Because if you're going to be bad, if you're going to make it impossible to initiate contact in a basketball game, you got to be consistently bad on both sides. And this officiating crew was not consistently bad on both sides. They were heavily on the negative side of the spectrum to Orlando because Trae Young was getting an unfair advantage based on what Pablo Banchero was getting. And I'm not pointing fingers like Chase said. The Hawks lost their game on their own hands, but it's hard to neglect yourself from believing that the officiating crew didn't have some kind of lenience towards Orlando. And one thing that was exposed and Trae Young touched on in the post-game conference is Kevin Scott. He's from Orlando, by the way.
No,
and
I know. So it was John Conley. It was John Conley, I think.
Okay, so yeah, John Conley. Thank you for correcting me, Jordan.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna start a conspiracy theory saying that John Conley was trying to force an Orlando win, but it's something that might have to be considered. And for face value, you might be sitting here saying, "Oh, these are a bunch of Hawks guys that are just salty about the loss, and they're gonna point fingers at anything." Take away the bias. Just take your bias glasses off and watch as an NBA fan, and I promise you will be disgusted. It was a disgusting display by the officiating crew. Absolutely disgusting. But Jordan, I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, like y'all heard that the officiating was terrible, and like guys, we saw like in the Red post, I don't know why, I don't know why he was reffing that game. He was from Orlando. He probably did have some bias in that game.
Probably.
So I was really think that from an officiating standpoint, the NBA needs to do a better job of putting the officiating crews not in their home state / home city, because that could happen the same thing for someone from Atlanta officiating against a team like the Lakers against us, and that's not good because we don't want that. We want to beat teams clean, and I'm sure the Magic wanted to do that as well, but obviously that didn't happen. So
Yeah.
so Silver has to do a better job at like assigning the refs to each game. That's yeah.
And it's something that definitely has to be like, at least evaluated because it's just something you can't ignore. You can't just take it on a chance. You have to, look into it and be like, okay, what's this guy trying to really persuade because he's from Orlando? Because the ref all day long can be like, no, of course I wasn't, but it can't be his word against his own, display. You got to take all things into consideration, but from an actual just stat by stat line, Karis LeVert, another productive night on the bench. Zachary Richardson really struggled from the field, but had a great day on the glass, just getting 12 rebounds. Okongwu, also great day on the defensive rebound. Trae Young, great display, 38 points, very low on the assist total, only 6. That's low for Trae Young numbers. And he shot horrible from 3-point, 4 for 13, but his overall field goal percentage wasn't the worst. But you can't mask over that monster 36-9 from Pablo Banchero. Cole Anthony had some insanely clutch shots laid down that stretch in the final 3 minutes. And Cole Anthony's been quiet all season. So that was a weird display there. But, yeah, any final thoughts from you, Chase?
No. Other than is just Hawks didn't play bad by any means. They got, I would say, like since like halfway in the second quarter when the Magic got hot, we did look very lackluster offensively. Only posting 23 in that third quarter, a lot of turnovers. That just hurt the Hawks down the stretch, but it was a rough one to watch. I will say, just in terms of officiating and just carelessness with the ball on the Hawks side, it was just a rough watch. But the game tonight was the same outcome, although it was a different story. The Hawks looked fantastic offensively, especially Trae Young, 38 points. Like I said, shot 10 for 24. You had Gorgeous Niang off the bench scoring 27. He went 7 for 14 on the line. He was a huge asset on the Atlanta Hawks off the bench. Like Joyner alluded to earlier, we had a Okongwu starting over Capella. Only gave Capella 18 minutes. A little less than I thought, but it did work out, I think, overall. Just a really bad game defensively. Like I said, Cade Cunningham, 38 points.
This was Capella's first game back as well.
Yeah, it was Capella's first game back, which was, we didn't even allude to that. So welcome back, Clint Capella.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Joyner. I didn't even allude to the fact that this was his first game back. He did shoot 100% on his 3 shots. So
yeah,
some positives to take away for sure. But Joyner, I'm going to kick this to you. I'm going to let you get into this one first. Just kind of break this very tight defensive battle between Detroit and Atlanta.
Yeah. Like not only was it very tight defensive battle, but it was a very tight offensive battle between the two star point guards and Cade Cunningham and Trae Young. Cade Cunningham, had 38 points, shot 14 for 24 from the field, 7 for 10 from 3, but had 29 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Or was the first quarter?
First half. It was the first half.
Okay.
If he had 29 points in the first quarter, I would have just.
Yeah, I know. But 29 points and a half is crazy. But that just goes to show you how good Cade is. Asar Thompson had 14. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 18. Jalen Durden had 13, and Tobias Harris had 12. And then Malik Beasley off the bench had 24. Had a nice 24 points. And if we remember, wasn't he the guy that Trae Young stepped over?
Yeah, he was the one that did that Trae did the Motor City stomp on after his game winner back in Detroit before the All-Star break.
Yeah,
which is funny,
do we think that we had this coming from Malik Beasley? He had 24 points.
Definitely
off the bench.
It's odd. It's the Bob Rathbone was even laughing about it during the game. He mentioned that
Yeah, he did.
every time the Hawks play Malik Beasley just decides to be Steph Curry. It just hits him insane shots. It's kind of like I'm forgetting his name from the Hornets. They used to PJ Washington. It's like when the Hornets had PJ Washington, and every time the Hawks played Charlotte, PJ Washington just turned into prime
Kevin Durant.
And it's the same thing with Beasley. He just loves playing the Hawks. And he probably loves it even more ever since Trae Young stepped over him.
Yeah, definitely some, vengeance there on Beasley's side. But yeah, let's just talk about the Pistons starting lineup. Like you said, Joyner, every single one of them scored in double figures and highlighted by Cade Cunningham's dominant 38 point, 12 rebound, and 12 assists and 7 rebound night. He was 3 rebounds shy from a 28 point triple double. And then Dennis Schroeder in his return to Atlanta in the Pistons jersey for the first time, 16 points and 7 assists off the bench. Highly productive. Zachary Richardson, much better night than when he had against the Magic. 50% on field goals with 19 points and 6 rebounds. Trae Young, like you said, Joyner, 38 points. 13 assists, 9 on 10 of 14 shooting, had 6 threes to go along with it. Dyson Daniels, 24 points. He was 3 for 3 from the three-point line. And Dyson Daniels has really lacked in three-point production as of late. So that was really fun to see. And then Gorgeous Ning, 10 for 20, 50%, 27 points, and 7 threes. This is why we brought you here. This is why Kyle Korver was so juiced to have you in Atlanta. And it's really starting to show. Karis LeVert struggled from the field, shot 30%. But, yeah, it was a high-scoring affair. The Pistons and the Hawks had 100 points going into the fourth quarter. And it was just all-out offensive brawl. And really frustrating night because down the stretch, you feel like the Hawks could have won. Just Trae Young just had some misfires. Dyson Daniels had some really clutch steals, especially late in that.
He finished with 4 steals total. He had 4 steals that game.
And they came really in crunch time situations. Yeah. And it was a very, very hard-fought game for the Hawks, but that now sends us to a back-to-back against the Heat that start tomorrow, and then we end off the month of March with a battle against the Thunder, arguably the best team in the entire league, and then we get into the stages of March basketball, which means the season is less than 25 games away once we reach there. So, yeah, it's gonna be a grind. Definitely gonna be a grind. But yeah. Chase, I'm gonna step away for just a moment because Jackson is spam calling me, and he keeps texting me. He says, "Call me ASAP."
I already know what it is.
So I'm gonna see what he wants real quick. Chase, I'm gonna let you take control as we wrap up this episode.
Oh God, are you coming back at all?
Depends on how long this phone goes.
Sorry, guys, this is an awkward. Hey guys, so this is the welcome to episode 1 of me and Joyner's Coke podcast.
Yeah. So what's your all-time favorite flavor of Coke?
Dude, all-time favorite orange vanilla Coke. What you're drinking right now?
Yes.
It is undefeated, bro. When I
I'm so mad they stopped because I can't find it anywhere. I'm just like,
oh yeah, it's gone. It's done for.
Yeah.
Although the UCC has that, what is it? Orange. Yeah, it's what you're drinking.
They have this.
The orange cream, the orange, which is still good. The orange cream is really good.
I know they have I know that they have both flavors. So I know if you want to, you could buy the orange vanilla and then buy the vanilla and then the orange and then just mix it together. I guess you could do that.
It's technically orange. So, which Jordan, have you ever, like the little soda machines, like the dining halls where you can get any soda you want?
Yeah.
Have you tried a lime Coke?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Dude.
It's pretty decent.
I love lime Coke, dude. I think it's fantastic. Every time I go to a Zaxby's or a dining hall in West Georgia. I always get lime Coke every single time. Every single time.
I've been like trying to try like the new flavors. Sometimes like tried all the flavors of like from the Coke machines, but like 'cause I mainly get like 'cause I mainly get like of like the vanilla and then the lime and then just Coke Zero, just regular Coke Zero. But yeah.
So, guys, if me and Jordan started a Coke podcast, would y'all listen? I mean, how could you not, man? We talk about Coke the whole time. Why would you not listen to that?
Yeah. But
Coke, please
like
sponsor us.
so like going back to basketball, something we need to talk about is Wemby. Because you and I were talking about that at the baseball game.
We were, yeah, we did have a
yeah.
conversation about that. Yeah, Joyner, you're absolutely right. Unless if y'all don't know somehow, Victor Wembanyama, the future of the league. The Spurs is forcing him pretty much medically to miss the remainder of the season because of it's a blood clot, like some blood clot in his right shoulder. Is that right?
Hold on. I'll find it real quick.
I originally thought it was a tumor, but then I recently learned it was a blood clot. Which, interesting enough, it's the same medical emergency
deep vein thrombosis.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, that is the same thing that retired Chris Bosh, although Chris Bosh had it in his knee, Victor has it in his shoulder, but that's the same thing that forced Chris Bosh to retire. Now, Victor Wembanyama's not retiring, obviously. The Spurs basically told him, that's a pretty big deal. We're not going to medically allow you to play the rest of the year. Take the rest of the season off and just get that sorted out. But there is good news. It's not all bad. They did say they caught this very early, and they don't expect this to affect Wembanyama's career in any way. It just sucks that he has to miss the rest of the year. And they just got De'Aaron Fox during the trade deadline, someone who was a perfect pairing for Victor Wembanyama, and we saw them play 3 games together, and they looked like they were going to be a fun duo for the rest of the league to enjoy, which we could see that next year, of course. It's unfortunate it had to be cut short, but obviously prayers up to Wembanyama. Obviously, we'd rather him take time off so we can get this dealt with medically. It's just very sad to see. It's very unfortunate.
And more Spurs news. I think came out either like last night or this morning. Coach Pop, who's been out with
yes,
he's likely out for the remainder of the season, and on all of that, he's probably gonna retire. So, just congratulations to Pop for an amazing coaching career. I'll see one of the, if not the best to ever coach in the NBA.
Absolutely.
The fact he was coaching for as long as he has been is crazy, and he's won numerous NBA championships, and just a very incredible career. So
absolutely, and I was talking to my older brother, not Andrew, my older brother, about it the other day, because he's the one who told me the news. I didn't know about it. He told me, and that's what we were talking about. Like you said, he's done pretty much everything. He has nothing left. He has nothing left to prove. He has done basically everything a coach could ask for in his career. So I think it would be in his best interest to just, just take it easy, rest, enjoy your retirement, and go. You're in the history books. You're already down as, like you said, one of the coach of all time.
Right.
So. Yeah, it's definitely been a rough week for Spurs fans. But, it's just stuff like that you can't help. It's just, it just happens. It's life. But, So, in terms of that, Joyner, in terms of the Atlanta Hawks, is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we wrap up this episode?
Did we talk about the All-Star game at all?
Yeah, we did last episode. We talked about how no, we didn't. We previewed the All-Star game.
Yeah, we previewed it. We didn't talk about it.
I talked about it on Sports Out of Pocket. For some reason, I felt like we did it on the podcast. You're right, Joyner. We did
Do you
not
want to
talk
tell,
about
do
the
you want to
All-Star
tell the
game.
people about what your bet was? About what you said off camera?
Dude, dude, yeah. They don't know about that. Wait,
Yeah,
did I say that off camera?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I said that for those, I think it was off camera. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I said that if Team Candace, which that was a team of all the rising stars,
Yeah,
which, by the way, why the heck were they in the All-Star game in the first place?
Yeah.
But I said that Team Candace won the whole thing, and they were playing Team Chuck in the first round, which was the team that won it all. By far the most stacked team. That was Team Shaq. They played Team Shaq. Team Chuck was the one Trey was on. I apologize. Right?
No, because
Or am I getting that mixed up? Let me go back. I might have got that mixed up.
Because I know the rookie was it Team.
Yeah. So Team Shaq was the one that's the one that won it all. That was the most.
Yeah, and they played Trey's team, and Trey's
Team Chuck. Team Chuck. It was Team Chuck. I'm looking at it right here. Yeah. So I said that if Team Candace won it all, that I would shave this half of my beard, keep this side, but then I would shave this half of my mustache and keep this side for the next episode. Based on the way I look, you can obviously tell that Team Candace did not win it all. Matter of fact,
unless your beard goes back very, very.
Yeah, that would be a miracle if that was the case.
Yeah.
But they played Team Shaq in the first round, which, funny enough, they actually gave Team Shaq a good game. It was actually the best game out of the whole tournament. But to basically sum the All-Star game, I'm gonna throw some numbers out at you, and these are not. This is not a joke. These are actual numbers. Throughout the whole All-Star event, there were 2 hours worth of advertisements, an hour and 15 worth of concerts, and 40 minutes of actual basketball. In what world for an All-Star game do fans want to watch 2 hours of advertisements, concerts, and then less than an hour of actual basketball?
That's pretty much like the Super Bowl. Just take away take away an entire half.
It was basically a concert with a basketball game in between it. That's what it was. And the thing is, I didn't hate this format, and I understood why they did it, because they felt like this would be a way to add more competition to the All-Star game, which in a way it did, because there is definitely more defense than there usually is in an All-Star game. So in that sense, it worked. The problem was, I think they underestimated how quick these players can get to 40 points. 40 was a bad mark. They did, if you don't know, it was untimed. It was first to 40 wins.
Yeah.
They got to 40 very quick. These are very short games. And the thing that was stupid was they took a TV timeout every time a team got to 15 and 30 points. That happened in like 5 minutes. So like every 5 minutes there was a TV timeout. Who wants to watch that? And what killed me the most, now this was TNT's last time covering the All-Star game. And what absolutely blew me, and they did a nice farewell to Chuck, Kenny, Shaq, and why am I forgetting his name? Ernie Johnson. I couldn't remember his name. They did a farewell. Yeah, they did a farewell to all of them. Brought them to center court. Kevin Hart gave them some funny gifts. They did a big farewell. It was nice. It was sweet. It was awesome. The problem was they decided the best time to do it was in the smack middle of the championship game. They stopped the championship game 5 minutes in to do a 30-minute farewell. Why? At that time, did you think it was a good idea?
Beats me. Yeah.
It was stupid.
Me being a basketball player, that would piss me off. That would piss me off because just sitting there for 30 minutes cools you down. If you're not, you know what I'm talking about. Just sitting there cools you down. And so I'm
100%.
just sitting there for 30 minutes, just watching this unfold. While guys are hot, let's say when Ant was getting hot or Trey was getting hot. Like that's not like the whole thing was just dumb. Well, what they should have done was like do it before the whole thing like started. Like during like the during like the like the warm ups and all that. Like what plays a warm up?
Yeah.
Then do it. Don't do it like smack middle while these guys are like hot and like on like a good like shooting streak. That'll they completely messed them up. That's probably why they were just screwing around with the whole second half that they were playing. It's because they were, because like they weren't in rhythm and they were just trying to get the game over with. That's probably why they were just messing around. It's because they were just done with it.
And
But-
Jordan, I'm glad you said that because, like, even during the the farewell, you could see it on the players' faces. They were kind of like, "Why?
Yeah.
Like, why did we stop the game to do this?" And they seemed
Yeah.
aggravated. And or they should have done it like after the first or second game, but instead we got cringy Mr. Beast out there to do a half-court contest.
Yeah, I don't understand why he was there. He's not even from San Francisco. He's from Charlotte. So I don't.
Raise your hand if you asked Mr. Beast to be there. My thought exactly. Nobody asked you to be there,
Yeah.
buddy.
I mean,
Nobody.
like it was cool, but like, what's the kid lost though? Like, what's the kid like lost? Like,
Then Mr. Beast would have looked like a jerk.
the
in front of everybody.
only reason why like it was like semi cool is because the kid actually like beat Damian Lillard,
Which is
that's
actually
all-
cool. And he got like what, $100,000, which is insane.
Yeah, but
So that was cool. But it was just I don't know. I don't blame Adam Silver though.
no.
It was a good idea on paper. It just turned out to be a dumpster fire. But they are. I think we mentioned this last episode. We might have. I'm not too sure. But for this next All-Star game, they're planning to do a USA versus the world.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't mind. And they were talking to players like Giannis and Curry and LeBron James, and they all agree that that's what they want to do. They think that would be a good idea because this time they'll be playing to defend their countries and defend the league, and that might add an incentive to try a little bit harder. But only time will tell. But I hope they find a blueprint that works because the All-Star game has been a mess for the couple of years. It used to be good. To me, the last good All-Star game was 2016, except I will say the year that Kobe passed away, RIP. And they did that little event for Kobe where it was they got to a certain target score, and then it was the first.
It was 24 for his number. His jersey
They
number.
added 20. That was one of the best All-Star games I've ever watched. That was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I really wish that, like that format. Yes, it was a bit weird, but one in order, a player that former player that died way too soon, and two. Like it gives you like some sort of like competitive standpoint because you're trying to like get to that target score. So you could probably be like half non-serious, like half competitive, but yeah, like the NBA probably should have just made that permanent, like the whole sport thing.
I think they should have just kept that and just like not honored the All-Star game as Kobe's All-Star game. But with Andrew back, I think this would be a perfect time. This is weird. I'm usually sitting over there.
I know, it's a different angle now.
Yeah.
But before we end, guys, is there anything else you'd like to add? Me and Jordan just ranted about the All-Star game while you were gone, how atrocious that was.
I think
and your favorite soda. We ranted about your favorite soda as well.
We did for like the first 5 minutes. We did like a mock episode for our Coke podcast. And I think we're gonna do it.
Okay, look. I'll do an episode of Naked and Afraid, except I'm not afraid. I'll be like naked and happy, or naked and exhilarated.
What?
Naked and thrilled. Naked and
nonchalant.
Naked and nonchalant.
That's going to be my show. Naked and nonchalant. It's just going to be me and my Dr. Pepper. That's it. No clothes, just me and say that I would watch, but maybe people will. Amen.
Okay.
That's a perfect way to end the episode, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For Joyner, Andrew, myself, and for all who love Coke, we're going to give a big